Take us back. How did this start? How did you build, how did GLO30, the concept, even come about?
For something to have fire to grow really fast or to grow strategically, the problem has to be personal, right? You have to be the founder or the CEO or whoever you are in that journey that you faced it and you want to solve it. I just felt judged that people were constantly selling me a product but not a solution. Absolutely. The amount of times I heard, how is your little spa?
Yes.
Or people will make you feel the cringe. And every time they make you feel the cringe, you must push forward.
Yes.
It's important, right? Because the cringe it's bothering your ego.
Yes. Because it's what will they think? That's that part of it that we all need to get over if we're comfortable with ourselves.
You don't have to answer everyone's questions.
Yes.
Not everyone needs an explanation. In fact, nobody really does.
Yes.
The only person you really have to answer to is internally you.
Yes. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the CEO School podcast. I'm your host, Sanera Madani, and I'm so excited for today's inspiring episode with Dr. Arleen Lamba. Arleen is just so incredible. I cannot wait for you to hear her story. She is the founder of GLO30, which is a membership model, medical grade skincare facial franchise that has taken over all of the US right now. Today, GLO30 is one of the fastest growing skincare studios in the nation. It's a franchise system that's grown 1,600%. Proprietary AI technology, Gloria, as well as on a mission to make professional skincare accessible to everyone everywhere. And y'all will believe this, but I'm actually a customer of GLO30. So I've actually been going to your studio here. You have a location in Orlando. I absolutely love it. I've been a customer for the last year, and I've been doing the laser facials and the nano facials and all of the facials. And it's so wonderful. So I cannot wait for everyone to get to know you, why you built this, your background, because I think it's just such an inspiring story.
Thank you. And that's such a wonderful intro. But I have to tell you that I've been listening to you or discovered you during COVID. So that was when I only had 3 stores. And now we're at about 135 in development. So thank you for inspiring and leading the way. And it's, amazing to see women do it, but then to see a brown woman do it. For me, it's, it's always, you have to see someone break the ceiling and then know the path, So thank you. This is really amazing to be here for me.
Thank you. I feel so special that you share that. She shared that with me earlier, right before we were sitting down. And we actually have never met in person. No. So this was an interview. So whenever we have special interviews for you guys, we'll do solo episodes, we'll do interview episodes. They'll come from people that I know, but sometimes they come from a guest pitch or someone that it's hey, this person really should be on your show. And Arleen's profile, Dr. Lamba's profile, came to me and I'm like, oh my God, I love it. I use their product. I'd love to have her on. And she's happens to be coming into Orlando. And so I was like, that would be so great to do the episode here with her. But I didn't know that you were also a listener. She didn't know that I was also a customer. And I think that is just incredible. And this is what business should be, is women truly supporting women. And I think it's incredible that, because the show has only been around for 6 years. So you said a fact. You said you were at 3 locations and now you're at 100 plus. Mm-hmm. We need to deep dive into this journey on how you did this so fast. And you were not you were an anesthesiologist before. So I'd love for the audience to get to know you. Take us back. How did this start? How did you build, how did GLO30, the concept, even come about?
Yeah, I would say that like most things, everything started with a problem. And I think for something to have fire to grow really fast or to grow strategically, the problem has to be personal, right? You have to be the founder or the CEO or whoever you are in that journey that you faced it and you want to solve it. So my problem was that I was in my 20s. I was an anesthesiologist. I never struggled with my skin at 16. And all of a sudden in my 20s, I got adult onset acne. I got scarring, hyperpigmentation. And I went through everything. I went through the skin cycle of dermatologists, estheticians, clinique counters, you name it. And I was so lost, but mostly my self-confidence was so diminished because I just felt judged that people were constantly selling me a product, but not a solution. So I remember we were living in New York at the time in the city where, I felt like, wait, if I'm a physician, it's this hard for me. It's got to be hard for other people. And I got to figure this out. I studied the skin cell cycle. that's when I was like, if I do a treatment every 30 days, that was a whole thing. Do something every 30 days, hence GLO30, because you need prescriptive treatments to get results. And so I made a concept, which was the health club for your skin, or the skin gym, where you come in every 30 days. In 2012, I opened that concept in a town called Bethesda, Maryland, which is right outside of Washington,
What is it called?
Bethesda, Maryland.
Bethesda, Maryland.
Yeah. It's so new here that nobody knows what Bethesda is.
I have no idea. I cannot even tell you where that is.
It's an amazing town right outside of DC. Very quick. We call ourselves like part of the DC network.
Yeah.
And I opened it. And why did I open it there? Not because I was some brilliant person to go open it there. Well, because that's where my husband's family was. We were moving out of New York. I was thinking of having kids. And I was like, I know, I'll just go do this. So I worked as a full-time anesthesiologist and I funded this. Wow. Meaning like I'd work at anesthesia. You go to work at 5:30 a.m. You get done about 2 p.m. and I'd come to my studio and I'd work till 8 p.m. So I was my first, I was the one doing the treatments. I was the one like, hey, join my health club for your skin. Yeah. And everyone was like, what is this place? Like, why do you need a facial every month? Or why do you need a microderm? I only get that when I go on the spa. Remember, this wasn't when skincare was hot. Yeah. Makeup was hot. And I said, just do it. And the only reason I made it.
What year is this?
2012.
2012. Okay, so this is really early because I feel like I didn't get my first, I was getting facials, but I feel like all of a sudden the last, maybe it's also my age too. So I'm 38, turning 39. And so now I'm also paying attention to it a lot more and also social media. But I feel like all I'm being pushed is lasers and skincare and nonstop.
Well, those industries exploded, right? And now with social media, there's so much more explosion because anybody and everybody can talk about, our neighbors can say, I got the best laser, but so can your favorite influencer. So it's everywhere on the feed. And it's become a product.
But you were so you were 2012. I also love that. I think it's important for women to hear you were working your full-time job as a doctor and building at the same time.
Correct.
Which is so discounted because in order for something to sometimes you need funding to get it bootstrapped too.
Right.
So you're able to fund your business through your day job, which you're also a doctor. So that was incredible that you're saving lives and then building this franchise, but you had to be the one to build it. I think that part of that story gets lost in now it's super successful and that's where you're at now. I can go back to my early days of building my first fintech. And it was called Fat Merchant at the time. It was also a different name. Yeah. But I literally carried payment terminals in the trunk of my car, convincing retailers. And I was the one that had to go do it while I was also working for a payments company. It was, I had to do both. But that grind, I could just relate to it. And I can think of you right now doing that and leaving work and doing that. So if there's someone listening that's she's doing that right now too, this is your motivation here.
That's right. And you know what? I did do that and I got pregnant and then I went to work 2 jobs and I did it and there was no work-life balance. It was balance in terms of what my dream was, right? What I wanted to do. And I was called Blush. I wasn't called GLO30 then because I thought Blush was a cool name and it makes people happy. I wasn't coming from a marketing background.
Yeah.
I wasn't coming from an understanding of what it takes to acquire a customer. But you know what I had is a lot of grit and a lot of hustle and I had to leave. I remember a specific instance where I had to leave my ego and throw it all out and be you know what?
What was that instance?
I was massively pregnant. And I was probably 8 or 9 months pregnant. I was handing out flyers in a fair. And all my girlfriends were looking super cute and stopped at the fair. And they were just they weren't the ones who were building companies. They weren't the ones, they were just in their era. And they looked so amazing and cute. And here I was wearing my husband's scrubs because I couldn't fit into anything. I was handing out flyers to my business to come join my membership. It was 2012. And I was known as this physician doctor. And here I was at this little artsy fair. And I remember how that feeling was wow, I'm a different person now. And I need to be this person. You must throw away your ego and your need to basically serve it in order to serve your dream.
I love that so much. And I think that that's such an important message for all of us to hear. So many times, when we're going through this journey as entrepreneurship, I shared it in the last episode. Not everyone is going to understand it. And your friends might even think it's cringe. You're a doctor. Why are you here doing this?
Exactly.
You don't need to do it. The amount of times that I hear the word need I can like if I like I like that in and of itself that's like $1 million right there of like how many times I've heard the need. Even with CEO school, right? Like I've already had so much success. You don't need to do this. But there is a part of me that wants to. I want to serve this. I know there's a problem here and I want to be I see the solution and I can't unsee it. So I have to be the one to fix it. Right. And it does take that grind. It does take whatever the cringe is.
That's right.
Whatever the cringe is. And for you in that moment, you felt that cringe of like, you felt seen by your friends.
Yeah.
While they're having fun at the fair.
Yeah.
You're in your scrubs handing out flyers for this little business. And I'm air quoting this.
Yes.
For this little business and feeling judged.
100.
Feeling judged. And the best thing that you said was like, you swallowed it and said, I have to put my ego aside to go build the stream.
Absolutely. The amount of times I heard, how is your little spa?
Yes.
Or,
ugh.
You know, the amount of times I heard that. But you know, that's the thing.
Sorry, I didn't mean to like throw up on you guys in the car if you're listening. Yes.
But that's the cringe, and people will make you feel the cringe. And every time they make you feel the cringe, you must push forward.
Yes.
It's important, right? Because the cringe is, it's bothering your ego.
Yes. Because it's what will they think? That's that part of it that we all need to get over if we're comfortable with ourselves.
Right. And I really wanted to share that because I had a messy bun. I was a hot mess. And they looked fabulous blowouts.
But
great
girl,
outfits.
I just saw your Insta feed and you're on the cover of Forbes right there, right?
Yeah. but the reason I share that is because I know so many women look on Instagram right now and think entrepreneurship looks like that.
You're so amazing.
I'll have to show all my befores. But you know, there was a process. You have to go through the process. Yes. It's like making a sandwich. It looks prettier when it's done.
Yes. Oh my goodness. That is so real. I'm really glad that you shared that. So you had to put your ego aside and you're building and you had to do the grind. That's the real part of building a business.
That's right. Nothing replaces the work.
So you got your first blush studio up and going. How did the franchise part of it come about? I mean, I definitely want to talk about you went from 1 to now over 100. It's been a decade in that thing. But if you could share some of the growth and like what were key milestones that took place for that growth, I'd love to hear around
absolutely. That. So, you know, I grew the one studio. It took a long time because I had to, you know, figure out the model, how it works. And eventually I quit anesthesia and went all in. When I went all in, that's when I blew it up much faster.
Yes.
Right? Because like I'd funded it, but I was still between two things and then a family. And so I was like, a girlfriend of mine, a very good girlfriend still, because you always need one of those in your life, told me, are you going to jump off without a parachute or are you just going to wait and always wonder what if?
Yeah.
And when she told me that, I just jumped off without a parachute. I was not making the same money in my business that I made as an anesthesiologist at the time, but I needed to give it 200%.
I agree with that. I think that there is that building in the beginning to test out your product or identify your customer, getting the first 100 is what we call it inside of, I have an accelerator called the accelerator, CEO school, the school part of CEO school. And in the product portion of it, I speak very much about you need to get that like machine going on like understanding your customer, getting that product. So is it your first 100 or is your first studio? But there is that point where then you've already identified that. You know that it's and then you stay stuck if you don't actually go all in to scale. And that's when the scale hack comes in. And it's really tough to do both. It really, really is tough to do both. And it's that risk taking. There's a risk portion of it that we're not comfortable with as women, right? And so that because it's like oh my God, it's working and you know that it's working, but there's the unknown. There's a portion of the unknown. And in human design, and not that other human design, I know the woos are going to come at me with the word human design, but just in human nature and how we've been, you know, how we are as a species is we're supposed to be afraid of the unknown. That's just fear, right? But in order for us to get to the other side, like we have to grow and get uncomfortable. We have to get comfortable with being uncomfortable.
That's right. That's my favorite thing to say.
And that is that portion that you're sharing is like, you've got to go all in. So just remind everyone of whoever is, you see it there. There's a point where you do have to press double down and hit go.
That's right. And you have to do that. And nothing is wasted. I remember dropping my son off to like preschool and I had just quit, right? I was going all in. And I remember when the moms looked at me and said, are you just going to throw away all of your education to do that little spa?
Yeah.
are you like sure? Because I quit anesthesia, right? And I quit a really nice career. And I just looked at her and I said, yeah, we'll see. Like, and that's another thing. You don't have to answer everyone's questions.
Yes.
Not everyone needs an explanation. In fact, nobody really does.
Yes.
The only person you really have to answer to is internally you.
Yes.
And that's really important as for women, because I feel like that's something I had to reteach myself, because I would spend a lot of time explaining my decisions.
Yes. 100%. We do that. We're all guilty of it. So you go all in.
Yeah.
And then what?
I grow to the second studio, which is a whole story in itself. When I went out, it was a retail business, remember? And doctors in that time era weren't really retail businesses.
Yeah.
And so I go and I'm like, oh, I want to get like another spot. And then my girlfriend was in real estate and she's like, there's a really cool spot. You should look at it. I think you should open a second store. And I was like, oh, you think so? I'm like, okay. So I go and the landlord's like, you're a doctor. You don't know anything about retail. You shouldn't be in retail. So they were like flat out like, no, I don't think we can give her that retail space. So that's when my doctor and my degree worked against me, I would say. But they came and visited me. I was like, no, give me a chance. I think you'll love my concept. So they come down to Bethesda. They're a big landlord. And they're like, you know what? We'll give you a shot. I had to really like tell them my story, share my journey. My gosh, that spot was like 500 square feet. I was fighting for a 500 square foot spot for my second store. And I opened it and it was a massive success. It was in DC, Washington, DC. Then I went to my third and, COVID happened at some point between this. Remember, I'm growing pretty slowly at this point because it's me, myself, and I and my dreams, right? And figuring it out. Because when going from a retail studio from 1 to 2, that's a different jump. Because I went to a different state as well and learning the customer again. All of a sudden, Amazon decides that they're going to build their national headquarters in Virginia. And interestingly, the landlord at the second one, who had originally said no to me, one of their team members was actually a member of mine for 7, 8 years. And she goes, you know what? They're looking for only a certain amount of people, like 12. They're only going to put 12 people in their retail floor of Amazon headquarters. And it's like prime, amazing real estate. And I want to put your name down. I want to put GLO's name down.
Ooh.
Yeah. And she did. So they interviewed me. There was a whole process, like multiple. And then I opened underneath the Amazon headquarters after COVID. And that in itself, I would say, just changed the trajectory, right? It changed the trajectory, not because it was Amazon, but it was because we understood that Amazon sent out this thing and said, hey, we sent out this email about all the things that are coming, and your business got like the most excitement. Everyone's most excited about, being part of GLO30 or a member or like the services you offer. And sometimes you do need to believe in your dream. But sometimes I think that for a woman to say, wow, this is probably bigger than I initially set out to be, sometimes you do need a push. That could be a friend, a moment, a business. But that need
this episode.
This episode.
Yeah, this could be your push.
Yeah, you need the push. And then we franchised. And after that, it was just
and
all
what is the process of franchising? So like how did you were like, okay, I have this, but now in order for us to grow, I'm going to license my concept.
Yeah.
What was that process?
Well, when we decided to franchise, prior to that time, we had a lot of interest. There was a PE group that was very interested in growing GLO30. There was VC interest in growing GLO30, and there was franchise interest. And there's a lot of, people who are, I do franchising, I do VC fund, I fund you, or I do PE, I just put fire underneath and we're going to go grow, right? They're all three different. And I explored all of them. But I would say that we decided to franchise because I'm still of the belief that in order to really grow this concept, everybody on the ground has to truly believe, right? Remember, we're membership based. We're a community. Mm-hmm. We build members who come in every 30 days. That quality, that execution excellence, I really believe operators can need to do it on the ground. So yes, you can fund it and grow it really fast, but to do it initially right now, you really want execution excellence on the ground. So we decided to franchise. We partnered with another group to help us franchise who's done Five Guys, Halal Guys. And they basically were like, set us up to like open and franchising. Within before we even right when we're about to like first day, we had our first 3 franchisees ready to sign up because they were members of ours who had moved to different states or different areas. So the member or the customer bought in and said, I love it so much that I'm going to fund you. I always say that my members are our investors. Your membership, thank you, is investing in my dream.
Yeah, it is.
And I appreciate that. And it's not a small thing, because that is what has helped us grow. And it's people like you who have believed in our concept that has allowed you have supported then franchisees to grow, mostly women. And that is like a seed that just keeps giving, right? And then from there.
Honestly, I just want to look really hot and young, so.
That's a side effect, we just give that as a side effect, a good one too. But yeah, and it's been amazing. It's been an amazing journey, but one full of a lot of ups and downs. And I would say that the one lesson that I've really learned in this is that you really have to double down on yourself.
You do.
You really do.
How do you trust other people to carry on you're so, the way that you just shared that, I feel your love of your customer.
Mm-hmm.
There's a reason why you're really successful, and it's 100% that. Like, you're obsessed over your customer.
Yes. Yeah.
You care about that experience. As you start to scale, that does become a challenge, right? Because how do you keep that, and how do you trust others in order to make that happen? Do you have any like stories, or just like, how do you get yourself in that mindset to let it go so that you can scale?
So I would say that we have definitely systems in place, and that's going to be the most boring answer for you.
Yes, no, it's a great one. I talked about the accelerator. It's people, process, profit. Process is a huge part of it.
But over that system is me, right? And I'm very straightforward in who I am. And I'm sorry for saying this, but I'm anal and annoying about my business. I'm very detailed oriented. And if you go left, I'm the ethnic mom who's going to say, you did great, but this is what you could have done better.
Yeah.
It is who I am. And you know what? Whether it's the right way to be or wrong way to be, it doesn't matter, because all I think about is the customer. And if the customer walked in and didn't smell nice, or if the customer walked in and they weren't greeted the way I want, then I don't care if it's sitting in a different state. It reflects bad on my dream. And because I remember doing that 9 months pregnant with swollen feet, I do have that expectation. I do expect hard work to deliver and make sure my vision is happening. So, there is the warmth to me and my customer building, but when it comes to the people on the ground who are doing this, I don't hide that version of me, because there's that version too.
That's the masculine in you.
Yes.
There
is that version. And so does everybody and my kids and my family need to see that version? And no. But that version exists in GLO30, and I love that version.
Mm-hmm.
I don't hide her. She's there,
I love that.
So duality has to exist. And I think that some people are just always like, we just had a big meeting with our franchisees. And I said to them, I'm going to always be respectful, but I'm not always worried about people's feelings. I'm worried about getting you where I need to get you, and then we will talk about your feelings. And maybe that's considered a different type of leadership. And that's okay, because
it's just called leadership. I think it's called a different kind of leadership when a woman says that.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. Because when it comes, because my husband doesn't need to explain that version of him. But I sometimes do, because I am a warm founder.
But we don't.
That's right.
But we don't.
But see, I have to listen to more of your podcasts to get there.
But we don't. I struggle with it too.
Yeah.
I struggle with it too. It truly is. This is the part of being a woman that is unfair in business. A man does not have to explain that. Well, you've scaled this beautiful franchise.
Yes.
Like, what's next for you? So, like, I think what's really exciting is that everyone listening can probably find a studio to go to.
That's right. Yeah.
And we're going to link everything into the show notes so you can go check out a GLO30. I was telling you about the products. So I do get my facial, and I like my favorites are, I do like the laser, because I feel like that's doing like the most amount of work on my skin. It's not the most it's not the facial that my favorite is like the relaxing facial.
Sure.
But the one that I'm I want to be on schedule for is the laser. And I really do love the Nano Glow. Is that what it's called?
Yes.
Is that called the Nano Glow?
Yes.
And then it's plumps me up and makes it, whenever I have a photo shoot or an event or something. I did it right before the Unicorn Summit. Aparna did my my Nano Glow before like my big event that I just had too. So I love that one.
I created that treatment because like brown girls, I have dark under eye circles, which are genetic. And when it was COVID time about to happen, COVID was just about to happen, I was like, so I used to be a traditional injector where I could put fillers and do all that. And I moved away from that for just many reasons. But when we first opened our first studio, but I saw there was a limit, like fillers can't go where I have the hollowness because it creates like side effects. So I was like, let me think of this. So we created this device. We put filler in the device. We thinned out the filler with our proprietary serum and we stamp it into the skin. So it just goes right beneath the surface of the skin, plumps up the under eyes. Amazing for micro infusion of ingredients, whether that's filler, PDRN, TXA, peptides. So this is something that I feel is regenerative, right? You like it because it's like, wow, I like look good, feel good, but it's actually constantly helping you regenerate.
Yeah.
So I call it my Benjamin Button treatment. So
I like it. I like that one a lot.
Immediate gratification.
And it's really accessible. I think what's really cool is also my mom is a customer of yours too.
Oh, yay.
Yes. Everything that I do, I bring an army, by the way. So we roll deep as like what you know about me and my community and like even just my crazy life and family. But I think that it's like what I really do love about it is that it is accessible for everyone to have access to something like this. Whereas some of the treatments like at med spas and everything else, I mean, it's like thousands of dollars for a laser. This is a simple membership, $299 a month. And I get to like come in and have a treatment. I can treat my friends for it. I feel like my mom wouldn't be the one to sit in some of those laser chairs or like, it's also this like, I feel accessible and approachable way for skincare.
Well, I don't know, but I think you went back and in 2012, I wrote down my business plan. It had 3 A's. I'm Arleen, so 3 A's.
No way.
Approachable, accessible, affordable.
Wow,
because
look at that.
If you weren't those 3 things, you couldn't be repetitive.
Yes,
so,
I love that. Well,
so funny.
Those are the words that come to mind for that. And I could see that, especially as my mom is a customer. She feels all of those things and she uses your membership as well.
And that's what I think about a lot because my mom's a customer and she's a paying member. Yeah. I let people know that how do I get you, but how do I also get your mom to be comfortable at GLO30? Yeah. How do I get your cousin to come, but also how do I get your husband to come? These are the things that we think about. Actually, GLO30 has become a big date night, believe it or not, across the nation. Like people are doing it as a date night and going for brunch afterwards. And I love that, right? This is something that we didn't plan on happening, but has organically happened. But that's like my job, always to think about how do we make it approachable? Because what's approachable to you is not maybe approachable to someone else, like your mom, and maybe different to your husband and different to your teen if you have a teenager. So we think about those things, and that's how we really want to create a brand. I always say Starbucks of skincare, where everybody knows that it's part of their life and they love it because it gives them that happy or their favorite day of the month.
I love it. Yeah. Well, congratulations on everything that you've built. I love how this whole thing worked out. In Orlando, I got to meet you in person and just
I got to meet you in person.
I know. I feel so excited. I feel like this is why I love doing this show as well, because I feel like I truly genuinely get to connect with like the most incredible founders ever. And I feel really grateful that we got to meet. How can, of course, we're going to support you in the business, but is there anything that you're most excited about in the next upcoming bit that we can support? And I'll link all of like your profile and everything else in the show notes. So we'll follow along your journey. But is there anything that you're most excited about?
I mean, I'm excited about our franchisees. I'm excited about their growth. I'm excited about the new.
Can anyone franchise? So these are like.
So there are like requirements. And if you go on our website on GLO30.com, you can see if you're a good candidate for franchising. What I would say is supporting growth is that we're across the nation. And I meant what I said. Every member supports our growth and they are the investor. We are self-funded right now. So if you want to support our growth, you just join a membership and help us improve, because I actually think that that's the best thing you can also do and I would tell anybody is listen to your customer. They will help you improve. That's what I used to do in the beginning and even today. Read those reviews, reach out to them. Take a minute to talk. What'd you like? What didn't you like? And that matters to me because that's how you create an exceptional product.
Well, we will definitely do that. And if you did enjoy even today's episode, please leave us a review. Tag Dr. Arleen Lamba on Instagram. Tag us on Instagram so she can feel the love and she can share it with her channels as well. And we're so grateful to have you today. It was such an awesome episode. And congratulations on everything. And we'll see you on another episode next week on The CEO School.